Riedner. This is CE5 Minneapolis, a mini-series about what happens when a team of researchers attempts to prove that we are not alone. Last episode brought the backstory of the Disclosure Project into the present day, getting into what CE5 is and how Dr. Greer uses consciousness to invite intelligent life from the cosmos to Earth. And I ended last episode by bearing it all, telling my first contact story doing CE5. This episode begins in my living room, in front of the fire with my wife on Valentine's Day. We took a rare moment to sit down together and talk. So at this point, she didn't know what my podcast was about. She knew that I had a community that I was making it to support, but she didn't know what the topic was. And because this topic is so complex and taboo, I asked her if she'd give me some time to work through it, to write, record, and design and build the storyline before I shared it with her, because I needed to get my thoughts straight on how I would present such an idea. So this is me sharing a test website with her, explaining the topic and the podcast.
So I have no idea what you're gonna do, and I feel like I don't want to know. Do you know this feeling? I just don't want to know. When you hold it like this, I feel like I'm on the TV. Can you just put it on the...
No, you have to get used to it. So now you want to check out this sort of website that I made so you can...
I don't know, I'm scared. I don't want to be
scared. Of what? What are you scared of?
I don't know, of like my opinions, my own opinions about what you're doing, and you probably don't want to know them either, if they are bad.
It doesn't really matter at this point. It's something that we have to work through.
Because I was shocked when I saw this. I was like, oh, Paul, I thought you were going to have a podcast about meditating, and it looks like UFO. And then I started reading. Oh, okay, it is about UFO.
Anita is about to watch the video of the last ambassador training in Florida, the one with the footage of the two craft that materialized over the ocean. They've been calling it the twin ships.
Twin ships? So what's CE5?
It's Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Oh.
So what I'd like to discuss now is an overview of the consciousness, the science of consciousness, specifically as it applies to
This was 2 weeks ago, honey.
training and meditation and the phases
Lay down, Dex.
of development for remote viewing.
What's 2 weeks ago?
This occurred 2 weeks ago.
This video?
Mm-hmm.
What is that orange object? Look up. Oh. Okay, that, you see that color? No. Oh no.
No, that's a
So let's
ship.
thank them for coming.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, here they come. They're two. Look at this, how gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I'm looking with the night scopes. There's no smoke. There's no trails. These are not flares. And,
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
let's welcome them here.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
They're waiting for us to arrive.
Whoa.
Please photograph. All cameras should be filming. So connect to them in your consciousness and invite them here. These are the golden ones I talked about. See how gold? Apart, because the horizon is only 7 to 10 miles depending on the conditions. So it's probably a couple miles. Everybody see them?
Yeah.
So this is like the best documented CE5 ever.
Welcome their beings on board to join us in meditation.
So did you decide to do this subject over the last 2 weeks or before?
I decided when I hurt my back.
This exactly?
Yeah.
So when you said it was going to be about meditation, you already knew it wasn't going to be exactly about meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a really hard time deciding to do it on this. Couldn't easily make the decision.
Because what?
Because of a lot of different things. Because I kept thinking that I had to do something business related, you know? But wasn't interested in that, you know? And the other thing that's hard about this is that I have to face my fear about opening up and sharing this with other people.
Yeah.
Which is
I
really,
thought this way
which
around.
is really good for me, but very, very difficult. So this guy here is Kevin. So remember, like in my video, I said the 4 dudes setting up the first Minneapolis CE5 team. Well, Kevin, just read that. Kevin was down there for that 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Is this the guy who was talking?
No, that's Stephen Greer. But Kevin lives in Minneapolis, and he went down there for the workshop, and he saw those twin ships. It was his first CE5. And
Did you
now,
know him?
and now he's helping us. Yeah, he's our team member as we set up CE5 Minneapolis.
What does it mean, we?
I'm part of their team. Me, Kevin, Michael, and Adam. This is tape from our first meeting at the Seward Cafe. This is right after Kevin returned from the workshop in Florida.
So the agenda I had in my head was a little bit ambitious because we don't quite know what we're doing yet. I looked at it again and I was like, okay, let's just talk about what we could do to prepare meditationally. I wanted to go through my original thought was for us to divvy up who was going to buy what to have the equipment, but I actually don't fully understand which equipment is what. So, do you guys have the working group manual? Let me back up a little bit.
I do not.
Okay.
I did bring my.
The working group manual. It's
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
It's so there's just a manual for what we're supposed to be doing.
It's fun to listen back to this tape of our first meeting because the group is just so excited. You can feel the energy of the group. We couldn't have been more excited to hear about what happened down in Florida from Kevin's perspective. And this shit's fun. It's interesting. And it feels like we're on an expedition, reporting back to one another about our progress with dreams, encounters, our meditations, and in this case, that Kevin had a life form right in front of him during one of the workshops.
The whole damn week, and then just that last Friday, it just felt so good. I would say hyphy, it was like that last meditation, everybody was just really awake, and that was kind of a final appearance. It was all on a subtle realm, but there was ETs hanging out, in the circle. There's orbs, there was a whole 2 or 3 ships had landed and were right there with us. All of this I didn't see at all. What I saw was an energy field that was directly in front of me, and that did correspond to when Steven said there's an ET in front of Kevin, and I was like, wow, this is cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, stuff like that. But that's the level of cohesion, is that he actually had the feeling that it was a group that was new to Earth, that hadn't actually visited Earth before, and we were their first contact with humans. So they were very.
Here's Adam sharing a picture that he took of a craft during a CE5 in New York. Adam has more experience with CE5 than any of us. Before moving to Minneapolis, he was on what sounds like was a very organized, long-running, mature research team in New York. Hopefully we'll get their story on a future episode. Here's Adam.
And so it's a Canon Rebel, and this guy picked up a picture that I want to show you. I showed it to Paul, I think, right?
Redundancy in camera or in footage capability was was a really important part of the week too in this process. It's definitely, that's great. I'm glad that you have one already.
So this was the best shot I ever got with this camera, and it's a streak right there. But with this camera, see, because it doesn't have night vision, I had to put it on manual setting, like the highest ISO and aperture rate. I don't know too much about cameras. I pointed it up. When the craft came by, it looked like a satellite. So if it was a satellite, it would be the size of like a pencil streak, that wide. And we all thought it's gonna power up. It's gonna power up. I clicked the button. The shutter opened. It stayed open for like 10 seconds because it was on the highest aperture, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And then it stopped. That's why. So the lens was open the entire time as it floated across the lens, the screen. It was only like an orb though the whole time.
Yeah.
And
That's still fucking great.
the purple borders is a naturally occurring color.
That's a cool color.
I didn't do anything with Photoshop
color.
or
Like,
iPhoto or
it
anything.
feels so pleasant to look at that color.
Yeah, just like zooming in. That's what. And nobody could really
great.
see that with the naked eye when we were looking at it. And then it just kind of fizzled out into like nothingness.
Wow.
So that was with this.
Yeah.
So it can capture some pretty.
And then there's Mike.
But it's motion over time too. That's one thing
Yeah.
that you captured right there. You know, there was a direct path, and you can even see depth of it going kind of back. Like
Mike brings an interesting perspective to our team. As a UX professional, he just asks good questions and helps us to define our intentions.
so at 5 p.m.
Oh, like a
or-
Minneapolis CE5.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
On Facebook.
yeah. So
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
we
was
should-
some
we
bullet
should do
points for
that.
that. So reminders of purpose, what we're doing. Video post limits. Make sure that there's some quality behind what's going on. Again, I want to know about meditation. So hopefully people can say, hey, check out this book, or there's a class or something like that, or hey, we're getting together to practice. I got time. I'll go practice. Those kind of things. Outdoor activities. This is kind of what you guys got into. When, where, what to be prepared for. I'm one of those guys that gets a pack together, so I can just grab it and go.
Yeah.
What's in my pack? And you want to get kind of into that. And then participate in disclosure. Really participate as, weird.
So remember in Startup, Alex Bloomberg's podcast, Startup, where he talks to his wife? Mm-hmm. So what makes the podcast interesting is that the podcast is about him setting up his company, right? So it goes through the whole behind-the-scenes process of organizing it and going and finding investors and just the day-to-day struggles, the ins and outs and anxiety, all those things that you kind of know happen when you start a business, but no one really gives you a first-hand account of. So the idea is to take the same route, but now I'm chronicling the setting up of CE5 Minneapolis. So how we set up the team, and then what happens when we're out in the field doing these protocols to initiate contact. And it's also...
Where were you last night?
That was our first time.
Where did you go?
We went out to... I can't give away the location, but it's in the western... It's like west of Minneapolis.
Did you see him?
Yeah, we made contact. This is the first time that...
This explains your good mood.
The previous night, our team braved the Minnesota cold and conducted our first CE5. We had a fire and went through the entire process and protocols, and you'll hear more about that later. That's the idea. There's not too much more on this website, but what do you...
Stop. I didn't see the bottom. I cannot wait for Kevin Fitzgerald's impression. He's just gonna fall off there. Like, I don't know, wherever he's sitting when he's... when he learns what you're doing right now.
Honey, do you know how many people are gonna go through the same sort of thing though? Everyone in my life is gonna wonder if I've gone crazy. You know? I know.
Your mom is gonna read that too.
That's the point. Everything is gonna be open and honest. No secrets anymore. Like, right?
Oh my god, honey. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't tell them.
Who?
Your mom? Your dad?
How do I not tell them? I'm telling
Your
the whole
mom
world.
is fine. Your dad?
No, my dad believes in UFOs.
He does?
He absolutely does. He is a huge lover of like stargazing. He got me into Star Trek. Like the reason I'm the way I am is because he raised me.
It starts out with the question, how much of it is real? The skepticism sets in and lessens your appeal. Next, you study conspiracy, develop some theories, and become extra wary of all your previous learned material. Your tolerance for stupidity degrades. Most your friends seem to be trapped in the maze. You narrow your associates down to the few you can stand, and even they sometimes wonder what's going on in that head of yours. Study East and Western philosophy, psychology, physics. You think a lot more and start to question existence. You wonder about your nervous system's limits. You tamper with reality maps and then ask hallucinogenic induced. Who am I? What am I? Am I forever? All information breathes in the shallow dark halls of never. You can see where
So here's how it happened. So Kevin emailed me before Christmas, like a couple months before Christmas. And so I emailed him back and said, yeah, thanks for reaching out. I've done CE5 successfully, and I'm definitely looking for someone to practice with. But I'm super busy right now, so let me get back at you later. And then, Christmas comes and goes. I get hurt. I'm laying in bed, like, what the fuck am I going to do? And then for some reason, I was reminded of the networking app. I could easily go get a whole bunch of emails, send them a survey to find out if they'd be interested in a podcast and what sort of content would they listen to. So for the first 3 days I was in bed, I went to every single person on that network app and took their email, copied it, pasted it into Evernote. And it took 3 days to get the whole world. It was 1,700 emails. So I got all the emails, and I was almost done, and it was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Day. I get an email from Dr. Greer, like a New Year's message that he sent out to his entire network and said that, for this coming year, I just want to ask for everyone's attention and like increased activity, because the world is still going down the wrong path, and our work is very important, and I need more people to get involved. I need people to get into teams. I need people to make more contact. I need you to do whatever it is that you have to do to participate more. So he sent out this email right when I was finishing up gathering all those emails. And I was like, holy fuck, like, it's called synchronicity. When you follow your intuition and your heart, and then something happens that is perfect timing for you, then it's a sign that you're doing the right thing and you go forward. I was blown away. I'm like, okay, so I quickly wrote up my survey and wrote up an email and said, this is in response to Dr. Greer's call to action for all of us to get involved. I'm committing to making a podcast to help in whatever way I can. Please, find time to fill out this 10-minute survey about, your experience with CE5 and what you hope, what you need help with, what you're struggling with. And I got like almost 200 responses to that.
From 1,700?
Yeah, which is about what you expect. And I got, I think, 11 countries from around the world.
Wasn't there an easier way to get all these emails?
I don't doubt that. I have a hard time finding those easy ways sometimes. So isn't that crazy though, how it worked? Right? So like, instead of me just emailing these people out of the blue, Dr. Greer sends a message for everyone to get involved more, and then I say, I'm ready. Like, here's a survey.
And you sent it the same day?
The next day. Yeah, I sent this email. Got all those responses of people saying, yeah, they need help. They need help with meditation. Some people just don't understand like what, how it works.
So those people, they didn't make a contact?
So yeah, well, the numbers are like, I think 25% of them have made successful contact. 50% of them have bought the ET contact tool. It's an app that Dr. Greer released. They're looking for help. And they thought it would be valuable to hear stories of other people who are practicing CE5 so that they can get a sense for like how to go do it. And a lot of people are scared. They're fearful because of all the stories in the media about, what an ET is, and that somehow they're in danger. So people are struggling with like just their own sort of fears. Which same thing I'm dealing with right now, trying to release this podcast. Same thing an entrepreneur deals with when they're going to launch a business. It's just fear, that it's like inside. There's not even like an objective, tangible thing to be afraid of. But for whatever reason, our brains are really good at telling us that there's something to be afraid of and that we shouldn't do those things. So that's going to be a thread in the podcast for sure, is that this fear that we all, in one form or another, we all have. And we know that it's clear now that when you actually face your fears, that's when you grow and that's when you develop. And so I'm definitely facing my fears with this podcast.
Are you going to tell Sławek what your podcast is going to be on? How about my mom?
I'm telling everybody, honey. So here's the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Because I was afraid, I set up an alternate Facebook profile because there's a Facebook group called the CE5 Initiative, and it's got like 5,000 members. I wanted to engage with everybody before I launched the podcast to get feedback and just to get to know the community. But then I didn't have the balls to like use my own personal profile on Facebook, to go and meet everybody on Facebook. So, I created this other profile just for the podcast. Like I was like host Paul, and then I set up a podcast page using the same thing. And I thought it was smart, that I was going to kind of protect myself so I wouldn't really have to be completely open and honest with my entire network, you know? I could kind of have this thing on the side that I was like passionate about, and now I'm at the point where I know that I can't do that. I have to own it. Like, I have to make this me. Like, I don't want to have two different lives. And I don't want to have two different social media. So, like, on one thing I'm saying one thing, and then on the other one I'm saying something else. Like, that's what I fucking detest. I hate that shit. I want to prove to everyone that you don't have to be that way. And if I can face my fears and do it, maybe I can be an example. But the other part is that I'm learning to not make it so serious. Like, it's fun, you know. So are you a little nervous about me being so open about this? Because you know me very well.
I am.
You know?
I am. I'm glad I've drank 3 glasses of wine.
Yeah. What are you nervous about?
That everyone who I know is gonna think I'm married to a psychopath. Because I would probably have how long can I explain them why you are doing this and what you've seen? You've been explaining it to me for last hour after what I already know, and I still need an explanation. So what will 1 minute or 2 minutes do? Not much. I will need to learn what to tell them to make a great impression. But maybe I don't need to tell them. They will learn by themselves.
Yeah. Do you think I should, like, hide what I believe? Do you think I'm right, or do you think I'm wrong?
I think you're right. But I have to tell you, like, if they ask me what my husband does, I'll tell them he does a podcast. I will not go into a detail. You ask me what the podcast is about, which I don't know, many people wouldn't ask, right? Based on your experience.
It's true.
Because they have no idea what
I say podcast, and then they just go, "Oh, that's cool,"
No.
or "Oh," or not even that's cool, but
Then I will tell them it's about meditation.
it is. And you know, this is not just a podcast. I have a company called Shadow Culture, and we do research and innovation. And I am researching what is the biggest mystery on the planet, because it's important. I want to figure out what's going on, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people would like to know also. I'm a researcher. That's what I do. And what I found out is that you, as a human being, are capable of way more than you even know. And it's up to us to figure out what it is that we can actually do, because they don't want you to know how powerful you are. They don't want you to know how our brains work, that we actually are all connected. You know? So, yeah, I'm making a podcast about contacting extraterrestrial life, but it's about way more than that.
Can't remember who asked me, but someone asked me, How long I thought that I would be allowed atop this trash heap. I didn't answer cause I'm tired of criticizing the masses. Inspired to support the devouring of self. All the power to the people who dig potholes. Place me in a glass case full of lost treasures and fossils. Got a right to be hostile. My love is getting gang raped by an army full of money-hungry crocodiles. Quantity is up, market in a flood. But the party over here is never steered through so much love. I'll take the laughter, but I'd rather have the women. Who am I kidding? I'll be content with whatever I'm given. Work for food, rent, sex, money, or water. I don't know what else that you have to offer.
To subscribe to upcoming episodes of CE5 Minneapolis, go to iTunes or go to CE5Minneapolis.com. The music on this and future episodes is from Rhymesayers Entertainment, a Minneapolis-based independent hip-hop label. We hope you will support their artists if you'd like some of the music that you heard on this show. They do it right.
Constantly keep elevating the hustle, the music, the ethic, muscle, the movements, the methods.
We'll be on the lookout for other organizations, companies, and leaders that are also doing it right. Send your nominations to info@ce5minneapolis.com. And thanks to Leon J. down at Slam Academy. Wub, wub, wub. I'm producing this podcast entirely with Ableton Live, and they're the spot to go to in Minneapolis if you need help with that. You're the man, Leon. Finally, I'll be attending the Global Ambassador Training in California next month. If you have specific questions about CE5 protocols that you think would assist so that you can take that next step, post them on the customer reviews for CE5 Minneapolis podcast on iTunes and any other feedback about the show. And I'll see if Dr. Greer would be willing to field the most helpful questions on the podcast. Thanks for listening, and please rate and review the show on iTunes to help the show find other concerned citizens. I'm Paul Riedner. See you on the next episode of CE5 Minneapolis.